Recording.
Oh, I got to click.
That's right. Hi, everybody. And tonight I'm talking to David and very happily. And we're going to discuss the stamp, which I'm now going to show you on the screen. And David is going to explain why this is such a useful stamp to have. Over to
Hi,
you.
everybody. Yeah, my name's David. No surname. We'll cover that later. But yeah, just for now, I want to go through this stamp. This stamp is brilliant. Friend of ours, David Edelman, the People's Lawyer, came up with it a few years ago. I myself have used this now for probably 3 years. And you can use it for almost anything that comes through your letterbox. Your letterbox is a point of contract. Your letterbox isn't your friend. It's the way they can enter your house with consent is through a letterbox. Royal Mail or the postal service in general has an awful lot of power, but as with everything, you can use that power to your advantage, and that's kind of what this stamp does. Now, when you get sent something through the post, and what I'll do is I'll just use the example in front of us rather than just for the stamp, but the actual envelope, because on the stamp you've got return to sender, self-explanatory, opened in error. Um, Normally, that would have opening error if opened, because most of the time you don't even want to open this. You know where it's coming from. There's a return address on the back. Your name's in all caps, so it's not for you, etc., etc. But we'll go through that because the next line on that stamp is return for cause. And what causes is postal fraud. Um, we've got the Postal Act 2000, I think, which says you're not allowed to knowingly open something that isn't addressed to you, or is to address to somebody else. So if it's your name or surname on there in all caps, or just even your surname is Crown copyrighted. We'll cover this very shortly on something to do with the birth certificates, but
We
it's
can
not
do
you.
another video. We can do another video on that, can't we?
On another video, a separate
Mm.
video, because that one will mess with your heads unless you know already what it's all about. But to hear it for the first time, I'll mess with your head. That's probably a video you'd want to watch two, three, four, five, six times just to get those, to get it, because it's back to front, it's upside down, and it's the way they introduce that confusion, shall we say, which works so
Mm.
well for them. So, cause is postal fraud.
Shall I go
So
back to the other? Because it's quite good to see the other image, isn't it? Because it shows the postal fraud. In fact, if I share this one again, there we go.
that, that, that's it. That's what we want is this one up there. So first of all, we'll start up in the top right corner. You've got Royal Mail and you've got a franc. Now, a franc, although it is kind of receipt of postage, it's not the same as a stamp. A stamp is like money; it has value. Although money doesn't really have value, but it represents value. So this is why when you do the postal mechanics and all of that, you have a little stamp that you sign through. You're signing through the value, you're adding value to it. Um, Something we've discovered quite recently is that pretty much every single document within the legal system has a financial value to it, and more so when it's endorsed, etc. But we'll cover that again some other time. Just for now, so top right, no stamp. Okay, so it hasn't come with that value. So already they're committing that postal fraud.
Mm.
Um, do not ignore this envelope. I don't know why the envelope's so important. The envelope's got very little written on it. The name, address, and all that isn't even on the envelope, which is the second point of postal fraud. It's not addressed to anyone. The internal contents are addressed, um, but not the envelope. So they haven't addressed it to you, so you can't open it. Obviously, West Berkshire Council have got their little stamp on there, which is great. You know where it's coming from. You know you don't want to deal with them, so you know you can stamp it without even opening it. Brilliant. Excuse me. If we look under the stamp now, you'll find it's a little bit hard to see. This particular one seems to say the occupier,
Mm.
occupier, or the new occupier, or whatever. This is a military term, military occupied territory. I don't know if we can be current saying Trump going into Greenland. He wants to occupy Greenland, just to add a little bit of that to it. But yeah, the occupier military term. So that's placing you within the system, the military system. Any titles are military, as in Mr., Mrs., whatever, they're all military. Um, so this is already taking that turn. However,
Mm.
another important thing this does say with the occupier is the fact that we don't know who's there, or we do not have a contract with you. Because if you had a contract, they'd at least know your name. Otherwise, how can that be a lawful contract? You don't even know who you're contracting with. This is particularly good with the utility companies, water, electric, gas, all that kind of stuff. If they're coming at you with a supposed warrant and they've got the occupier on the warrant, that tells you the warrant's fake because there's no contract in order to get the warrant. Otherwise, they'd have a name on it. These are all sort of things, that
Mm.
just little pointers. But quite often, they'll know who they're sending it to. But they won't send it to a man or a woman. They won't send it to David. Although I did get DVLA to send me one once. But that did take a lot. But they will send it to Mr. Bob Jones or Mr. John Doe or Mrs. Jane Doe or whoever it be. I mean, who we got on here? We've got Mrs. Jane Smith. We've got on the
Mm.
on this next one we're going to do. So the Mrs. would be the military title. The Jane is your Christian name or given name off the birth certificate, and the Smith is a surname which you weren't given, but they crown copyrighted it off the back of the birth certificate. So that's their name, and you can be punished for using it because that's not your given name. So unless it comes to just Jane, then Mrs. Jane, if it comes to Mrs. Jane Smith, Jane should send that back because nothing to do with her. She's committing postal fraud by opening it. Stamp it, send it back. And then the address. The address is not too important. Sometimes it's all caps, sometimes it's written in English. Either way, get down to a postcode. Postcode is theirs. If ever you use a postcode, you are acquiescing to their system, the legal system. They own it all. Same with the address. The address is not yours, it's the post office's. So you want to put something like via or something like that when writing your own letters, just to take away from it being the address. It's the property at that address. And if you use a postcode, which I wouldn't unless it's necessary, then put it in a box or square brackets to take it off the page. They're tricks against them. We like to do a fair bit of that. We can't turn this envelope over, but on the back of it, it will probably have return address, PO box, blah de blah. And what that is it's a non-physical place. So it's because it's a PO box, it's not a physical return address. So that's again another example of the postal fraud. I've mentioned the window already, but if it's an envelope with a window in it, that's internal mail only and not for the external postal system. So again, the envelope is not addressed to anyone. So again, postal fraud. Anything that I've covered there, use that stamp, send it back.
And it's also worth saying that if you don't have a stamp, which can look something like this with the wording on it, you can just write it in by hand, can't you, Dave?
absolutely.
And
absolutely. And here, I think this is David's original example. What he's done is he's stamped. You don't necessarily have to do it across the window on the basis that most of that will rub off by the time it gets anywhere. But you can do it to the side there. But if you do it in a 45 degrees, that's the old school drawing a sword kind of thing across the page, which is slashing through it. So that's the way to do it. And an angle like that. Obviously, cross out the original window with a marker pen or whatever, just so you don't get it back again by the postman going, oh, I thought I delivered this once, I'll take it back again. And also the ink, if you get a stamp made, you want to get it printed in blue. Now, if you're writing it and you've only got a red pen or whatever, then it's whatever. But the colours do matter a certain amount, and blue is Admiralty law, which is what they're writing to you in. So you are declining their contract in the same jurisdiction that they're writing to. So, excuse me. So let's read through the stamp a bit. So return for cause.
I can just put up the other one so it'd be easier for people to see.
Oh dear.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. There we go. So yeah, return to sender, self-explanatory. Opened in error if opened. So if you get that, if you're writing this, you don't need to put that if you haven't opened it. Return for cause. We've just gone through that, and then without
fraud.
Without dishonoring commerce, no lawful consent, no lawful or legal contract, and offered a contract declined. So what you've done there, it's a good idea to always stay in honor, and this is the only way you can really do that, because everything they send you, every first contact, notice of intended prosecution, a council tax statement, because they never send you a bill. They might call it a bill, but it's a statement. They're all offers to contract. They all have trickery written into them, which we'll again cover in another video. But if you respond on their paperwork or to their paperwork, there is a good chance that you will contract with them, either on purpose or inadvertently. You could fall for one of their traps quite easily there. So the way around that is this stamp, boom, done. You've made your intent clear, no offer to contract declined. They have no further business with you. Now, the thing is, this will work for electricity bills, speeding fines, all of that kind of stuff. And if we just mention it for speeding or a parking ticket for now, what happens is, according to the Magistrates Court Act, Section 127, Magistrates Court Act 1980, I think that is, 8084. Section 127, anyway. It gives them 6 months in order to contact you from an alleged offence. So let's say that you were driving down the road, notice you were going a little bit fast, and you see the old plod there, or one of the roadside pirates trying to pitching, and he's got his camera out, and you think, oh, I think I may have been caught there. So you can expect what's coming through. The return address will give them away anyway, or they'll stamp the front of the envelope with road safety cameras. Of course, they're making the road safe with those things. So you know where it's coming, you know to expect it. They've got 6 months to contract with you. By the time they get round to getting DVLA to breach your data, to give them your name and address and everything else, they've probably lost about 3 to 4 weeks. So they're a month into that 6 months anyway. You get the letter, you stamp it, you send it back. It goes back through their system. They'll churn out another 2 probably, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. So we're 2, 3 months into the 6 months by the time you've had 3 of those. The only option they've got left now is to send somebody round to knock on your door. But the cost of doing that for something that they're probably going to get no results, and let's face it, they prefer to do donuts in the crew room rather than pop out and actually see somebody, unless, of course, you've said some hurty words or something. So the chances of a visit pretty much non-existent. So by the time you've done these 3 stamps, sent it back, it's gone. It's gone in the pending file until it times out. That's the end of it. There is no arguing with them. There is no trying to justify your speed or anything else, or trying to tell them that you're not a driver, because that's a commercial act, and the Road Traffic Act's commerce only, and all of these valid arguments. But it's hard to get your point across when the system's very dumb to the actual specifics of things. So easy way, stamp it, send it back, done. And
stamp it, send it back. Fantastic, David. Yeah. Thank you very much.
To send it back, just in case anybody doesn't know.
Yes.
You just pop it in in a post box the same way you post a letter. You put your own stamp on. You have to go back to the post office or any of this. Just
Mm.
bung it back in the postal system or give it to your postman when he dropped off the letters, and it's done. It will go back to the sender, and they'll have to process it with a off the contract decline. And
Great.
that's about it.
Thank you very much indeed.
No worries.
Yeah. And I'll just stop the video.